Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the National Guard Products 223NA clear anodized aluminum automatic door bottom with a neoprene insert. Okay. Surface mount sort of automatic door bottom. That's what it looks like. Well, that's what the hinge side of the unit looks like. We'll discuss that in a moment. Automatic door bottom with a neoprene insert. 3/4 inch maximum drop. Black neoprene insert is going to be here. We'll go over that more in a moment. Surface mount, smoke and draft control, UL listed for 90-minute, 3-hour rated doors. Air infiltration tested, certified. Used with a threshold for a maximum sealing capability. Nylon brush recommended for a carpet installation where no threshold is provided. Neoprene is good where you've got a threshold or a relatively smooth surface. Nylon brush is a great option as well. There's a link below this video to the product brochure where you'll see the nylon brush version. We'll go over that in a moment, along with the installation aspect. Easy touch door bottom requires only 3 to 5 pounds of pressure to activate. Perfect for accessibility applications and still provides an effective seal. So you'll need a lower pressure unit when you've got a handicap compliant opening, because those door closers on those doors, if there is one, there probably is, easier to open, less closing force. So you'll need a unit that prevents less of an obstacle to the door closer. Okay, in this video I'm going to say that automatic door bottoms are elegant solutions for installations several times, and I'll make those points as we go along here. First stop is the link below this video to the product brochure, which shows the 223 Easy Touch on the lower left hand corner, along with some other sister products to this material. Okay, so the 223 N means neoprene. 223 is representative of the profile. N means neoprene. You can see that you've got the S for silicone option as well, which would be a hollow tube. I like the neoprene because it gives me good contact with multiple ridges there of surface area. Although that hollow silicone tube is effective as well, it will give you an airspace between the two walls of the silicone, plus a very good bellied amount of surface area to the floor when sealing. Okay, I like neoprene more for if I've got a dusty sort of situation happening. Silicone more so if I'm sealing, temperature, is my personal experience. Available in the the clear anodized finish, like you see here, a dark bronze, and you can also get it in solid architectural bronze. Okay, other models that are listed there are important to note, where all of the other models on that page feature that small inserted pile in the sidewall, meaning that when the drop bar goes up and down in the housing, this model can theoretically allow air to get in, up, over, out, and around, whereas that inserted pile that you see in the 420 NA works to eliminate that sort of problem. Okay, now we are looking at why this is an elegant solution. Well, first of all, they're incredibly effective. They're easy to install. They are long-lasting. They are durable. Okay. First of all, easy to install, first of all, means that this is a surface-mounted sort of item. Once you have the proper length determined and made or cut from the factory, all you really need to do is get it placed on the bottom of the door. Okay. We'll go over the installation aspect when we get to that portion. Long-lasting. It's elegant because it's very long-lasting, meaning that this neoprene seal isn't dragging across a floor or making, excessive amounts of contact with the floor, wearing it out. All it's doing is dropping down and sealing. Okay, so it's an elegant solution in the sense that you don't have to drag something across the floor to get it to get to the closed position and to seal. How that happens is as follows. You'll take note that there is a bolt head sticking out of here with a slot in it. And you'll take note that the other side, whoa, got our screw package still on there. You'll take note that the other side does not. Okay? Now, here's what that means. The side with the bolt head, or your plunger, I'll call it, your actuating bolt head, is the hinge side of the door. Only the hinge side. And the side without it is the lock side of the door. And here's how this works. When you attach this to the bottom of the door, and you push the door closed, as this end is on the hinge side and the door comes closed, this will, in the last few degrees of the closing cycle of the door, will make contact with the stop. Well, the stop is an immovable object. This plunger has nowhere to go but in, and when it goes in, it forces the bottom to drop. Now you can see how it drops there unevenly, and that's typical. That's normal. That's how these work. But my thumb will represent the sill. As soon as that bottom drops and makes contact with the sill, you'll see that the rest of the unit comes down and drops evenly. Okay? When I don't restrict it, it's supposed to come down like that, because the way these work is they'll drop, and then the rest will knife down to make a seal. Very effective sort of method of sealing the bottom of a door. Okay? So as you can see, you couldn't install this on the lock side. It only is for the hinge side of the door. You're going to get with this as well, we'll talk about that in the installation instructions, which it's time to move on to, because so much of what I'll say is related to the step-by-step process of the installation instructions. So let's start that right now. First of all, for single doors, cut the door bottom 1/8 of an inch shorter, step one, than the distance between the stops on the frame. Here's what that means. Automatic door bottoms, we have in the sight in several different lengths. For all intents and purposes, those are just random lengths. 36, 48 inch. However, the way that a surface mount automatic door bottom is measured and cut is based on the distance between the stops when measured obviously on the push side of the door. If you think that through, this can't be installed on the pull side because this would never make contact with the frame. So here's an example. You've got a 3-foot hollow metal door. Well, a 3-foot hollow metal door is not 36 inch. It's typically 35 and 13/16 or 35 and 3/4. That really doesn't matter at all. What matters is the distance between the stops. Now, a typical hollow metal frame has a stop projection of 5/8 of an inch. So, if you've got a 3-foot wide door, 36 inches the clear opening between the clear opening, inside opening of the frame, and you've got two stop projections of 5/8 and 5/8, that's 1.25 inches. So 36 less 1.25 inches puts you at 34 and 3/4 distance between the stops. And step one of the instructions say deduct 1/8 of an inch to allow a little bit of clearance. Arrives at 34 and 5/8. So a 36 inch would certainly be what you would think you would order, but you're going to end up cutting it when it arrives. I'm not a fan of that. The factory's cutting it anyway. They're literally cutting all of these parts from long extrusions and manufacturing them just for this order. So why cut it to 36 when you need 34 and 5/8? Factory doesn't care. They're cutting it anyway. So I'm a fan of, when you order the item, indicate in the comment field of the next longest piece or pieces the actual length that you need it to come out at. It will save you the time and trouble, the risk for making a mistake. The factory assumes all the risk. It'll have a factory edge on it. It'll look really nice. It could be that your job site's not really accessible, etc., etc. I understand that. I happen to feel that getting to the job site and taking that dimension is certainly preferable to having to cut this, which you can certainly do. But that operation of this plunger, how that works is it's connected to a flat spring inside of here. And it's evidenced by these screws up here where there's a rod assembly that's inside of there. Okay? The amount that you can cut these down is 4 inch in the field, and you can. But to me, I don't want to take the risk of breaking something inside of there, the saw cutting it incorrectly. Plus, these bottoms, when they drop, they do this a little bit. So when you go to cut it down, if you cut it in the retracted position, it can technically bind because that bottom comes down not straight down, ever so slightly. People cut them all the time, no problem. My preference is that you order it the size you need so that you don't have to incur any additional labor. Moving on, for pairs of doors, if you've got a pair of doors and you're going to install 2 of them, take the distance between the stops and then deduct 1/16 of an inch. So there you go. Do not extend drop bar while cutting. Okay, that is the opposite of what I just said. That must be a condition of the fact that it will become damaged actually when it is, if you've got that extended down and you try to cut that, you're probably going to cause those parts to flap around inside of there, would be my guess. And that the amount of drop that's not completely straight down is so negligible. So do not extend drop bar while cutting. Do not cut from the end with the adjusting rod. So you would only cut the opposite end, the lock end. Maximum cut on doors, 36 inch and longer, is 4 inch. If your door size is less than 36 inch, you can't cut it down in the field, meaning the inner workings of the spring assembly might be so close to the end that it needs to be manufactured at the factory to the net length, to the actual size that you're going to require. Now, step 2, with door closed, position on push side of the door with adjusting rod toward the hinge edge. Align the bottom of the case flush with the bottom of the door, 1/16 of an inch clearance between the stop and the end. Mark your screw holes, 1, 2, 3, and speaking of screws, those are included in this hardware package. Drill pilot holes, 9/64 of an inch. Install the screws as provided. So with a surface mount, you don't need to unhang the door like you would with a mortise or a semi-mortise model. Do not over tighten the screws. You don't want to crimp or crush in the casing just so much that you restrict this item's ability. If I were to grip that real tight with my hand, I would make the operation up and down hampered. It wouldn't work as well, obviously. Same thing with the screws is what I'm trying to say. Set the adjusting rod for proper seal, looking at step 5. Before you test this for the first time, take your screwdriver and turn that clockwise. It's a bit hard to do it by hand, but turning it clockwise will draw the bolt in towards the housing. Turning it counterclockwise will bring it out. The amount of projection is directly related to the amount of drop. Turn that in so that's sticking out 1/8 of an inch, so 3/16, let's say, assuming you have a normal undercut. Test your operation, get down and look and see how your seal is. Turn that out counterclockwise, get the seal to where it drops down and then just makes contact, proper contact at the other end. Not too much. You don't want this housing being forced down under so much tension from the bellied flat spring, because as soon as you open the door, you want the retraction process to start. You don't want to drag that housing across the floor. It'll damage it permanently. Now, on wood frames, there is in this hardware package that I'm mentioning several times, a strike plate that you will attach to the stop so that as the plunger makes constant contact with the frame, the plunger's not creating a divot in the wood frame. So you're going to attach that right to where the plunger makes contact, however you want that, just like this. That'll be on the frame. You'll get a little screw for installing that. Now you're going to get a couple of L angles. All these are intended to do is, this is the one for the hinge side, and it's got 2 holes in it because you can install this either left hand or right hand. And that's just meant to dress that off, okay? Make it look proper when you have it installed on the door. Screws are provided for everything. There are also nails in here that for this model you won't use. The nails are used when you are going to cut it down in the field, and as I incorrectly mentioned before, you don't extend this down when you cut it for this model. Those nails would be used when you drop this down. There would be a hole drilled inside of this housing, and you would insert those 3 nails to keep the bar drop down as you're cutting it. This model does not require it, as we've discussed. I think Automatic door bottoms are also elegant because they allow you to operate in such a way that, well, you could have a condition where you've got a rug in front of the door. And if you've got a door bottom stapled to the bottom of the door, which is typical for residential applications, or a door sweep, a item on the floor, on the pull side of the door, someone comes in and drags their sweep or their stapled on door bottom to the bottom of the door, and it ruins it. It will tear it off. Automatic door bottoms, because that's all tucked up into the housing every time you're opening and every time the door is open, allow you to, not destroy and damage the item. They're very long lasting. I've known automatic door bottoms to exist on doors for several years. They don't really fail. Hospitals are big fans of these because of their rating for sound, for air infiltration, for fire rating applications. The fact that they need to deaden the sound from a hallway into a suite, into a hotel room, is crucial. And automatic door bottoms allow them to do so very effectively, very long lasting, and do so in such a way that no one can unintentionally damage the door bottom. I find all that elegant. If there's one complaint against an automatic door bottom, it's this. If I've sold 10,000 of these, one time a person said, "That's too loud, I don't like that." Granted, you can actually hear that operate. National Guard has models that have inserted dampeners inside of there, rubber inserts to all but eliminate that sort of sound. So keep in mind, it is something that was brought up once. To me, it's not an issue, but I mention it because I'm aware of it, is the bottom line. National Guard is a comprehensive manufacturer of all things weather stripping related, and they have a variety of different automatic door bottoms that are both surface mounted like this, semi-mortised, where you could take this same type of device and mortise it flush to the face of the door. You'd mortise the bottom of the door down so that this is flush. Everything changed at that point in terms of installation. The actual length, you would use a different formula to calculate it. You can't do it to a fire-rated door in the field, certainly. They also have types that are mortised into the bottom of the door, okay? Wood door applications, steel door applications, etc. I've installed these. I've mortised doors for these several times. If you want to talk specifically about the process by which to go out about preparing your door, please feel free to reach out to us. National Guard is a comprehensive manufacturer of all things weather stripping related, not only automatic door bottoms, which are a bit less common in the world of weather stripping, thresholds, perimeter gasketing as well, material made of aluminum like this, stainless steel, architectural bronze, and in my experience, the very name National Guard is synonymous, National Guard products is synonymous with weather stripping in the commercial field industry. Any questions on this or any other National Guard product, please feel free to reach out to us.